Getting started with FlexChart ASP.NET Core chart controls. The ComponentOne FlexChart for ASP.NET Core and ASP.NET MVC boasts over 80 common chart types and configurations for visualizing data in your .NET web apps. In this video, we'll cover how to quickly get started using the FlexChart control in an ASP.NET Core web application. Before you get started, you should download and install the ComponentOne ASP.NET Core Edition, as this will provide the Visual Studio project templates which make getting started very easy. Once you've installed the edition, open Visual Studio and create a new project. Search for C1 to quickly find the ComponentOne templates and locate the C1 ASP.NET Core MVC application template. Give your project a name and select Create. On the Application Wizard dialog, you can choose from a blank project or one pre-configured with Ajax or model binding to sample data bound to a FlexGrid data grid control, plus a spreadsheet template using FlexSheet. Here, we will choose the model binding option. Click OK. Before we add the FlexChart, let's modify our person object model a bit. Open the sampledata.cs file and expand the object model region. Add a new property here named Sales of type double. This will give us some numeric data to plot on the chart. Next, below this section in the sample data class, let's set the sales property to a random value between 1 and 100. Now our data model is ready. Next, let's move to the View. Expand the Views folder of the project and open the index.html page. Here you'll find a pre-configured FlexGrid. Below the FlexGrid, let's add a FlexChart by typing C1-flex-chart within a set of angled brackets like this. You'll notice this is possible because the project is already referencing the ComponentOne ASP.NET Core Edition library, including FlexChart. The first thing you can set is the chart type property. Let's set it to column. Then, let's set the item's source, and for that, let's just copy it from the FlexGrid example here. This will bind the chart to the collection of person objects. Next, to bind the x-axis to a property, we'll set the binding x to name. This will display the person's names along the x-axis. Next, to bind the y value, we need to add a series to the chart. This is because the chart can support multiple series. Below the item source, add a C1-flex-chart-series element. On the series, we set the binding property to the sales value. We can also set the name property, which displays in the legend. Let's just name it Global Sales. That's it, and now we can build and run the application. Next, let's annotate our chart with more text and labels that we can quickly set in the markup. For instance, you can add a header by setting the header property and footer text with the footer property. You can add a legend by simply setting the name of each series which will display in the legend. You can add static data labels onto the data points by adding a C1-flex-chart-data label element. Set its position to top and content to curly braces containing the letter Y. This is a string template to display the bound Y value. To add a title for the axis, you need to define the axis in markup. Then set the title property. The axes are automatically generated, so to access them, you need to set the C1 property to the specific axis type you want to configure. For instance, let's set this property to axis Y and the title to $. You can set other attributes of the axis, like grid lines, tick marks, and position, on this element as well. And the same approach can be used to modify the x-axis. Observe the static data labels displaying the bound y values. Lastly, in this video, let's cover the basics of styling. The appearance of the FlexChart control is defined using CSS classes, which represents different elements, such as plot area, legends, axis, header, series group, and so on. You'll find the complete list of CSS styles and examples in our documentation. However, the color of the data points is controlled by the palette property. The palette is just a string array of colors, and many are built in to choose from. We can access them in our markup by adding them using the c1.web.mvc.chart namespace to our page. And then set the palette property on FlexChart to palettes. Let's choose Coral. That completes this Getting Started guide on ComponentOne FlexChart for ASP.NET Core. To add more features to the chart, check out our documentation and samples at developer.meshius.com/componentone.